You're very passionate about what you do. You've got a ton of results. You're killing it yourself. How did you get into this? How did you find a part of your purpose, I guess?
Yeah, now thanks for the compliments, man. I'm flattered already. I don't know if I can speak. But yeah, thanks. You're doing great yourself. So yeah, thank you very much for the positive feedback. Yeah, it's a good question. I started off myself training. So basically I was kind of insecure, young. I kind of went through different phases where I gained weight, then I lost weight. Then I got passionate about sports, going to martial arts. So basically, cut the story short, going to martial arts, started doing Chinese arts, then some kickboxing, Thai boxing. Then I went into grappling, kind of cut the story short there. I went competing. It wasn't my thing. Came third in UK in MMA. I don't know if you guys can look back when the mixed martial arts came to the UK. It's around about 2000. It wasn't very famous then, but then I kind of just went in and just took part into these competitions. And it just happened that I did pretty good. And then competition wasn't my thing. So I was more passionate about human performance and how things work in human body, how you can perform better than someone else. And then I started studying. So I started studying, and then I kept on practicing martial arts. I was heavily involved with other sports like running. That wasn't my thing. Kept on trying new things. Then I dropped a lot of weight, and then I was passionate about how you can drop weight and all that. So I started studying, and then from then on, it basically just rolled on from then. I'm now 42, so like 20 years later, 22 years later. I started around about 16. I started studying when I was about 20, and practicing. I started coaching. Currently around about 15 years under my belt with the coaching, martial arts, athletes, kind of all types of athletes and normal people, all walks of life, like, transformations and stuff like that.
Wow. So it was definitely like one step at a time. You didn't just wake up and like, you know what, it looks cool, I'm gonna be a fitness coach or a martial artist,
Yeah, funny you say that, because the coaching side of it, I wasn't pursuing it at all. I was just passionate about learning to better myself, if that makes sense. The coaching side of it came just by chance, I should say, or however you want to call it, because I was doing well myself, and then I did all these qualifications, and I certified myself as a trainer, personal trainer. And I started as a gym instructor first, and then I went to personal training, and then I did the nutrition and all that. And then I did it all for me in many respects. And then after that, it kind of just rolled on from there. People were like, hey, man, could you coach me? Could you do this? Could you do that? And I was like, well, I don't know, because, I'm not insured yet. I didn't really pursue it as a job, and then I got myself insured. So I got myself insured and approved in UK under the governing body of fitness industry, and then I started practicing from then on. And then it just rolled on from there. The coaching side of it was a byproduct of me pursuing this knowledge in this field, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, like you slowly became an expert or something like that.
Yeah, so then with time, I had people coming to me from all walks of life, like people just want to lose weight, people that just want to, run faster or run better, fighters that just want to have a better condition or better skill. So that made me pursue my knowledge even more, because then I was being challenged. So it wasn't just about myself anymore. It was about trying to help people more effective and safer, more effective way than they would do otherwise by, pursuing this journey on their own. So it kind of rolled on from there. Yeah, it really put me on a spot, I should say, in terms of, making sure that I do the right things, which kind of started a whole new journey of learning. And it branched out in many different areas that I needed the knowledge in order to make sure that, these people can count on me, and I can put forward a plan that works for them. and they're better off by being involved with me instead of brainwashing them into some sort of trend or something out there. So yeah, to this day, I'm heavily studying, and it's literally ongoing. I mean, I never stopped. I never stopped, and I just wish I had more hours in the day, because I'm a hands-on guy. You know me. I'm not really active on social media and stuff. I'm mainly like one-to-ones. Most of my clients are private, and they're not involved with like social media and stuff. But yeah, it's difficult now to kind of drift from like learning life and my personal goals and everything else, because I'm really passionate about helping people. But then I know at the same time this comes in at a cost. I constantly need to stay up to date with what's going on out there. And you will do it from social media and reels. Unfortunately, you're gonna have to study. You're gonna have to put a lot of hours in there if you want to be a good coach. You need to dig into the evidence, and you need to have that experience behind you to kind of puzzle those together.
Yeah.
Did you say
Love
that's
that.
like one of the biggest like roadblocks from people like going to do fitness is like they just hop on the trend, and so that's why they don't have any results? Or what would you say is the biggest roadblock you've seen in people that are trying to get fit, that they get caught up on?
Good question. I think one of the biggest problems is people look at the extrinsic factors and things that are happening around them, and what's cool and what's not, and what's happening and all this, instead of looking what's really happening in their own circle, in their own lives, with what sort of problems, what sort of things they're dealing with. Instead of like looking at what you can hop on, and instead of looking for like a social media reel that you can attach your feelings to, or whatever may be that you're currently being challenged by, because we have different aspects of life that challenges us all the time, and then we kind of link that to something else, and then it becomes a negative practice, an environment where we get stuck in. And then it could be the fact that people just emphasize too much energy on extrinsic factors and not intrinsic ones. I think firstly we need to look deep inside what we really need. And I think that's one of the biggest problems, and if not the biggest problem. I cannot see you failing at something for as long as you prioritize your ways that work. You're going to have your own unique ways, and regardless what happens, nothing out there will 100% translate to those ways. How can we fail at something if we have a clear plan? Because we will just adjust the A, B, and C. Plan A, plan B, plan C. But if a reel comes out and that don't work, you're waiting for another reel to come out so you can jump on, emotionally and fall off again. We need to embed some sort of behavior and some sort of habits which build on each other. Then that way, whatever you built already needs to be set in stone. It needs to be part of you, and it needs to be something solid that you will not fall. You can literally put your foot on it and you can feel safe. And for as long as you're there, you're okay. And then build on from there. But if we keep addressing these extrinsic factors that we maybe feel good with, or we can attach to emotionally, momentarily, we're always going to jump on and off of these things. These things are not, they are not behaviors and habits which you've practiced long enough to be able to make them part of your life and understand them. So I think this is a big, big factor why people fall off all the time. First, look at yourself, look at what's really going on in your life. Then kind of seek your way through whatever you need to do in order to find that level of support and understanding of what's really happening, and build from that.
Love it. So like doing what's realistic for you, setting goals that are realistic for you in a way.
Literally, yeah. I mean,
true?
you got to look at where you are right now, small progress, one step at a time. From there on, it will be progress you will need. You will be at the rate that you can manage and adapt to, and you need to be, exactly like you said, you need to be realistic, because If you're not realistic, it's not going to happen. It's no good being here and thinking 1,000 miles ahead. You're here, think a few steps ahead. Make that happen first, you know? Every journey starts as a start and a finish, you know, and as a process in between. Why start here and think you're there already by missing out, cutting out the most important thing, which is the process, which is teaches you how to retain and sustain that, and it gives you that experience to build on. How can we ever build on something when we just go and attach ourselves to some sort of trend or something which we don't even have a clue, we haven't even practiced it, and it doesn't even probably work? You know, I don't know what they are or what's going on out there, because, you know, I know the social media is a dangerous place, but, you know, we can't do that. That's why we fail. You know, simple. You cannot skip the process. The process is your own journey, and then being realistic, being sensible with your aims and your goals by setting, you know, little wins, you know, along the way. Hit one and then jump onto the other, you know, and then after so many, you'll have a bigger bang over there, you know, and then you can reflect on it, enjoy it. And that's another thing. People don't enjoy the process, you know, they just want the result. It's not going to happen. You're setting yourself up for failure, you know.
I love that. I love the attach yourself to the process idea. And that was the biggest thing for me, was I'd get so wrapped up in like, all right, I need to lose 50 pounds rather than
The number
I need
game,
to
yeah.
go to the gym today. I need to eat healthy today. You know, that mental shift, what I think was one of the biggest things for me, for sure.
Yeah, it becomes a number game then, doesn't it? It becomes like a competition with something, you know, like an objective competition with either environment numbers or something, you know. We attach it to one, the reward, like the trophy, you know, like, yeah, I gotta go get it, you know. But it really isn't like that. The trophy is life. Be good at life, you know, be good at life, be healthy, be strong, sustain that, you know. That is the biggest trophy you can ever get, is to live a fulfilled, full of experience, you know, healthy, good, vibrant life. Otherwise, what's the point? You can marry yourself to any goals you want in your life, financially, physical, or whatever it may be. But if those goals are not sustained and they're not understood, you know, how they got there, and how to look after them, and how to value them, and how to sustain them. And how can you do that if you're missing out the process? You know, you're just so busy by just having an eye on this trophy that you almost tripping over everything else in your life, and it's like, that is no longer life. You know, it's the way I think, you know, things work.
So do you normally like when you meet a new client, do you normally like sit down and have a talk with them and try to help him understand like different traits or different habits that he has to get into? Or I guess, what's your process of helping, or what are the traits that are most desirable to help someone to get to their goal the quickest?
Yeah, so, you know, the process and the concept I use when I work with clients is a really good evaluation, you know. And how I like to start that, it's just by talking. So I offer them some of my time. I really like to give them some of my time, just as a person to person, you know, open conversation, where I don't put a price on it. It's no financial constraints or anything from the client, and they can take their time, you know, no time constraint or nothing. So I can just get to know them a little bit. So I just get an overview of themselves, their goal. I take a few notes, and I let them express themselves, you know, in terms of where they are, where they want to go, and what they think they need. So I like to do that because our perception of what we want sometimes can be totally different than what we need, in terms of understanding, you know, certain variables which will be required for us to get there. You know, I'll often get people like, oh man, I want to be like super jacked, this and that, you know, and build muscle at the same time as shredding fat and stuff. And like, it's important to have a thorough understanding of what's required, that comes with that goal that you got in mind, because to have the goal is great, but do you really understand what's required, along the way in order to get that goal? So it's just an open conversation, and then I let it roll on from there, because I believe that client or the subject should lead the way. I believe that I should not have, as a good coach, I believe I should not have a proactive system in place that would indirectly drift my client or my subject in a way that I think it should work, if that makes sense. I believe I should possess the knowledge required to help this subject and let them lead the way and me just guide them. So I'm just there to exchange information and give them enough and valid information to help them understand what's required and what it takes along the way to hit that goal. And most times from our initial consultation, I have I know this is just average, but 8 out of 10 clients that they change their goal setting. They're like, hey man, after our conversation together, I think I should be doing this. Or oh, I'm not ready, man. It's like, wow, is that what it takes? It's that's crazy. I thought it's like this, So I think building awareness into my clients straight away from my initial consultation, it's the way to go, because that gets them to reflect on their journey and their goal, and gives them a bit more evidence and a bit more information of what it really takes for them to pursue that goal.
Is there a certain part in the process, in people's fitness journey, where you notice that they either switch from being like, I want to reach this goal, to say, I just want to make this a part of my life. I want to make this, part of my journey of growth as a person?
Yeah, good question. It's usually at around 6 month mark. So when I sign up my clients, I normally like to sign them up for 6 months minimum, in order to have a significant impact in their lives and on their behaviors and on their understanding, because I like to make it a learning journey as well as physical aspect of it and mental and psychological aspect of things. So normally, if I sign up a client and they last for 6 months, not everyone makes it through, then around about 6 months mark, they have a totally different goal. Literally, they look back 6 months and they're like, oh my God, I can't even believe that was my goal. It's crazy, man. And I'm like, yeah, things change. The more information we have, the more understanding we have. That's the whole idea. Talking, rewinding back to that process part. The process really does it, It's one step at a time, understanding things along the way and making them part of our life and our behaviors and our habits, It's bringing that on board and building from there. And that just opens up new doors. And that's what makes it sustainable as well. Because my session with my clients, it's an open window of opportunity where I can help them in so many different ways they can't even think about it. Sometimes they don't even know what they need. It's for my job to find out. They might just have a bad day. Our session might just be a chill out session together. We'll do the things we can, or it could be a really hard session. We have our guys go out there, they get stressed, with all this work and everything else, and they come to the gym and they're like, oh man, what a day. And I'm like, oh, let's go smash it, let's just go blast it. And after, really good session, they're like, wow, I feel so much better. I can't believe it. I feel like a new guy. Or, we have a girl that just emotionally, she had a bad day emotionally or something, we just gotta exchange some good words and understand that, these are just emotion coming in and going. So yeah, it's a lot to it. It's a lot to it. That's why I like the one-to-one, myself as a coach. I'm not a big fan of the online. As you know, Instagram is my only account that I have, and I'm not active on any other platforms at all. I'm, hands-on type of person, and that's why I love the interaction with my clients, because, it means so much that when I see my client in the front of me, I can see so many things that they can't. And if I'm a good coach, I will bring answers to the table to those little things. And it's not just about the session. Some people confuse the PT with a good coach. A good coach will be there to help you literally in every aspect possible that they obviously qualified in. And that on that day, it might not be the session that's life-changing for you. On that day, it might be just a good conversation that has purpose and understanding. And that just might be the thing that challenged you for the last 2 or 3 weeks and made it a misery in your life. That just one conversation. And for a good coach to come in and just have a good conversation together on the subject and eliminate those noises around it that are not necessary, can just switch things, And that's the difference between coaching and PTing, because a lot of people misunderstand the, a PT session, a coaching session.
I like that, man. That's awesome. That was actually one of our questions, was like, when people don't feel like doing that next set or, working out today, like, what's that conversation look like? I know you had mentioned like they just sit there, maybe you chill or you have a coaching rather than a PT session. What's that conversation look like? Is it something that is really unique to you guys, or is it something that people can kind of just sit with themselves as well and kind of work through this in their head?
You see, that's why it brings us back to the fact that no social media content will ever help you. No trends will ever help you, because you are unique. You are unique. You're going to come to the session. You are unique. It's your life. You bring in your emotions. You bring in everything to the table within that hour. It's all about you. What takes you is going to be different. That's why I cannot have a proactive approach towards my coaching. Like whoever does that will have templates and stuff like that. Whoever does that, they just care about money and having a system in place that works for them and gives them financial gains and social media recognition or whatever that might be. I come empty-handed, literally. I bring my years of experience, and I'm confident that I can get a positive outcome, whatever it may be, on that day within that session with my clients. So to answer your question, everyone is individual. Yeah, everyone, it's specific to them how we work. I literally have, men coming into the session totally beaten up by life, kids, family, work, whatever they may be, or their own mind. Sometimes it's their own mind. And we just got to tap into that, have a heart-to-heart conversation, and go, this should not be here. Let's get rid of it. That should not be there. Let's get rid of it. Now, this is a threat to us. Let's deal with it. It's just like picking weeds in your garden. If you want a productive garden, you're always going to have to pick the weeds, man. They're going to grow. They can overwhelm your garden. If you're not aware about these things, you're not going to have a productive garden. Mind is the same. We are the same. Sometimes the weeds are too big and overwhelming. You just need a little bit of strength to pull them out. You just need a bit of a team to pull them out. Clean up your garden, have a productive good garden. And you cannot overestimate the importance of heart-to-heart conversations. Getting to know someone, truly believing in one another, and making sure that someone is a stepping stone in your life. That when you put your foot on it, it's secure and it's good. And they've got you. Sometimes that's all it takes. And I don't think it would ever work any other way. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm open. I'm open for debates. Intelligent debates and arts house schools will always up. Bless you. Always up for that. I love people's input into things. That's what makes me better. I was stuck in a route as a coach for too long back in the day too. I'll jump on something, I'll find new knowledge. I'm like, yeah, man, I got it. Now I got it. Right? And then I'm like, wait a minute. Just like how you didn't got it before, you might not got it now. So how about you just keep learning, and then along the way, just keep getting it. Keep getting it. It's cool, man. For as long as you get in it, you don't have it. Why? Because you keep getting it. There's more. So for as long as I keep getting bits by bits and I'm helping people in the right way, I believe that's the only way. And that's why I drift away from social media a lot, because I don't think the online coaching is as competent way of working with people. But now I understand that you can't work with everyone face to face. Totally understand that. But for as long as I can, I'll make a difference face to face. And I believe it's how us humans were made to collaborate in many ways. It just feels more neutral. It just feels right, instead of having a device between us.
Yeah. So there's something about the conversation itself that it's like, it makes you realize that you're not alone, I guess. It's like even in the connected world that we're in, it's like we're so disconnected. We're like, I'm just listening to you talk and it's like, oh my gosh, yeah, I deal with that too. I kind of think like that too. And then it's stuff that you don't see on social media. It's only things that you realize in the one-on-one, and that's, I do see that.
Simple things is bump, fist bump, walk, come here, man, what's going on?
Yeah.
It gives me goosebumps sometimes when I see my clients and I see their emotion talking to me. It's like, and they're there, and it's like a totally different person day by day, because once you scan people face to face and you see their actions, even their posture, how they turn up for a session, I will understand straight away most times, and most times I probably won't, because I'm just a human myself. I have a bad day too. But guess what? My clients are there for me too. So things like that, little things like that, it's just something magical about the one-to-one interaction.
Yeah. You got anything else, Dalton?
I'm pretty much all out. I'm good over here. That's
Okay.
great. I don't have any more questions. I think he pretty much hit everything. So
yeah,
Well,
man.
this is just the way I feel about things and how I coach, and I'm sure everyone does it in a different way. But I think in the end, it's all about the impact we have in clients' lives, and how we can enhance their experience in terms of whatever that goal may be, along the way. If it's health and fitness, if it's physique, if it's transformations, whatever that might be.
I got a couple questions to maybe wrap up the episode or the podcast here. One, do you have? And I apologize for bringing this back to social media, but like, I saw this one reel where it's like every guy has one line that they tell themselves right as they push and do another set. And I was looking through the comments on this one reel, and a lot of them were very similar. So I'm curious if you've got a line or a quote that you just love, that you just like play in your head, or does that change? And then, are you reading any books right now? Do you have a favorite book? What do you have a book that you encourage others to read? And then, do you dedicate time to read that book? every day or just isn't more sporadic.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. So is that a personal one, or like when it comes to clients, that line for that last set, or like you said, is that like a
No,
personal
just a
one? 'Cause
personal one. Yeah.
just a personal one, yeah. Okay, so I think I have a different approach to training. I've changed a lot. So like when I first started training, I would do things like, yeah, let's go, this is it, and then other times I'll be like, okay, I got this, and then other times we'll be like, okay, just another day at the office, I just got to grind this out, I think it's based on a day on how I feel. But the idea now is more like, instead of having a line like that, I have an approach to the whole session. Instead of like set by set basis, I'll go in and I'll say, right, what can we do better today than we did yesterday? So
Like,
the idea is to kind of go in and then come out with a better outcome than I would have done the day before. So it's literally like, okay, let's see what we can do better than we did before. So that's my line when I go into my own personal sessions. Now with clients, they do have different ones. Everyone is different, like we said. So, some people would prefer like, let's go, this is it. Or some people would be like, okay, be small, let's do it. And then other people would be like, okay, just last set, best set. It does vary. Although, in terms of books, did you say?
yeah. Are you reading anything at the moment?
Yeah, so I kind of find it hard because of life factors and stuff, rather busy with the family stuff and the work and studying. So I'm heavily studying still. It's never going to stop, I don't think, because it's kind of becoming a personal thing where I just wish I had two lives, one to study and then one to just put into practice,
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I have to do both together, juggle them. You know what they say is, no, what life does use what you do with life. Huh? So, yeah, I'm studying for my strength conditioning level 4 at the moment with a UK organization. And I'm also studying with Health and Science Academy for nutritional therapists. So I got those two open. And yeah, they're quite challenging. But on top of that, yes, I do read books as well. So I recently read Eat Your Frog. And I've started Atomic Habits and also High Intensity Training by Mike Menza. Yeah, so that's what I can recap off the top of my head right now.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, do you have a book that you recommend everyone read? Maybe other than the Bible?
Yeah, that's the first one. You should read that one time and time again. And then you probably won't need to read any other one if you understand it. It's hard to understand properly.
Yeah. It's a lot to understand there.
There is a lot, yeah. Yeah. I'm on that one too, by the way.
Hey? Awesome.
I'm on the Bible too. Main books. Now, I think the way to look at it is that instead of me recommending a book, the best way to look at it, I think, is to look at what do you need most, and then do some research and find the most competent or the most, I don't know, liked book in that department to increase your chances of reading it, and start there. So I think the best way to, instead of me recommending one, is to just sit down, go for a walk, or sit down, whatever. Everyone seems to be thinking clearly in different ways. Some people need to go for a walk, and some people need to sit down, and some people need to do yoga. But do whatever it takes for you to just kind of breathe deeply and reflect on your life, on yourself, and then look at what you need most. And then have a look who's most competent in that field, or wherever you take more likes towards that you think are more competent. And then that will increase your chances of reading their material as well. And I think you should pick a book based on the things that you struggle with most, because the biggest changes come from the most challenging things that we have to deal with. So I think we should tackle those first, and always best to pick based on yourself and how you feel about things and whatever you're most challenged in. So, find whatever that might be. It may be, physical health, maybe mental health, maybe environment, social, whatever that might be. And then, just pick a book that you take most likes to, and then start digging.
I love that answer. I love that answer. I've never heard it put that way before. It's like you get so many good books recommended to you, and you know they're going to be good, but then you sit down to read it, and it's like, it's not your current level of awareness. It's not where you're at as a person yet, So it's like you're reading something that is really good, but maybe for the you that's 5 years from now, or the you that's already gone through this issue or struggle, I like that answer. It's, I guess, what I'm trying to say here.
Yeah, isn't it like interesting and fascinating how we can be sidetracked? Like, we can be like going around the problem all the time, by just thinking that we need something, and it's totally something else that we need, like you just said, everyone recommending you all these books. They're all awesome. They're all amazing. But if they're not at the right time, like you said, they're not, because they're not relative anymore. They will not help you. In many ways, like you said, you want to understand them. And second of all, they're not relative to the problem. Your biggest problem is whatever that biggest problem is. What you need is probably not even a book, maybe something to help you with a big problem, man. And then once you eliminate that, then you could move on to another one. And I think we are consumed by the most traumas that are happening in our lives, whatever they may be. And the more of them we can eliminate, the more capacity we can create, and the better life we can live. So I think the best way to go about it is just, have a self-assessment and have a look and say, hey, man, this has been hanging over me for too long now. I've been carrying it. It's heavy, I need to get rid of it, because I need to get light. I need to do more stuff. I need to live life better, and deal with that thing, whatever that might be, and look at the resources that you can utilize, and don't get sidetracked by what other people recommend you or what other people's opinions are, because what everyone thinks, and even what we think sometimes, is not even appropriate, because emotions can get in the way and stuff, it doesn't matter. Always think 1,000 times before you do something as well, because you'll probably notice that your emotions will change. Sometimes we attach our decision making to our emotions, and that's why we yo-yoing all the time. Same with food. People will be like, hey man, I want to eat this, and then I'm like, oh my god, I feel like trash because I had that, and then on that day they feel like, oh, I'm gonna eat healthy, that's another emotion going on there. So it's like, oh my god, if you keep doing this with yourself, you're gonna destroy yourself. Please have a little thorough understanding of what's really going on here. Maybe take a moment before you emotionally attach yourself to that donut and go, oh my god, I'm gonna demolish that, Yeah. Well, how about you just walk away a little bit, have a little talk to yourself. Remember last time how you felt like trash after that one meal? You want to feel again like that? No, you don't. So, just walk away, have a little think about it. So yeah, and how can other people help us, like recommend things and the things that we need? Because sometimes even we confuse about it.
Oh man, so much. I feel like there's just so much more that we could talk about. This has been awesome, man. But to wrap it up, the only social media that you can be contacted on is on Instagram at _TM coaching.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So anybody listening, reach out to him on that platform. He's got some awesome before and after photos, and I'm looking forward to clipping a lot of these segments and then hopefully sharing them with you. So a lot of knowledge on this episode. I really appreciate you coming on and sharing and just answering some of these questions with us. So yeah, thank you.
No, you're welcome. And by all means, everything I said and how I do things have the end goal of positively impacting someone's life, or helping them in a better way. It's based on evidence and anecdotal experience, and my way is not the best way. My way is not the way. But if I can help with something, then it's a positive thing. That's the way I see it.
A little better every day. A little better every day.
The main goal, every session, go in, see what you can do better. Every meal, see how you can improve better. Mindset, see how you can change that slightly, maybe improve, see what you can do better. Name of the game, get better every day. Yeah?
Yep. All right. We'll see y'all next week, and it was great having T on.
No, thank you for having me, guys, and then hopefully it was a podcast that would help someone in some way, shape, or form.